Food and Movement, Module number 11, Sugar and Rebounder. Rebounder. Ever since NASA research found trampoline workouts to be as effective as running for exercise in 1980, people around the world sprung into trampoline fitness programs, leading to a surge in mini trampoline-based exercise classes. However, recent studies have found conflicting evidence on the ability of trampolines to elicit an effective workout. American Council on Exercise, the world's largest health and fitness nonprofit certification organization, decided to let science have the final say, with a peer-reviewed research study measuring how many calories a standard trampoline workout burns and what effect it has on cardiorespiratory endurance. The ACE-sponsored study recruited 24 recreationally active and apparently healthy college students. Researchers at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse measured the fitness levels of the participants in the form of maximum heart rate and oxygen uptake on a treadmill before the study began. Participants then completed a 19-minute full-body trampoline workout designed by JumpSport. Participants reported perceived levels of exertion every 5 minutes during the trampoline workout, while heart rate and oxygen uptake were collected every minute. Caloric expenditure was calculated from this data. This research found that mini trampoline exercise enables a workout sufficient to improve endurance and expend calories, said ACE Chief Science Officer Cedric X. Bryant, PhD. We also saw that participants consistently through the workout thought the workout was easier than the measured heart rates and oxygen uptake levels, which should likely have a positive impact on long-term exercise adherence. During the workout, men burned an average of 11 calories a minute, while women burned 8.3 calories per minute, a level of energy expenditure similar to running at a pace of 6 miles per hour on flat ground, biking at 14 miles per hour, or playing American football, basketball, or ultimate frisbee. According to fitness industry guidelines, exercise intensity seen during this research approach moderate to vigorous intensity levels. When people perform other types of exercise within this intensity range, they usually report their perceived exertion as being significantly higher. This may be due in part to the fact that the trampolines are a unique form of exercise, and participants felt comfortable on them very quickly, says Bryant. We must not undervalue the enjoyment factor. It's the key to long-term fitness commitments and helping people sustain healthy life choices for the long term. Gentle jumping on a mini trampoline releases endorphins and other hormones, stimulates and exercises every cell in the body at the same time, stimulates muscle tone and strength, increases flexibility, oxygenates the blood, improves circulation, helps to release toxins, and stimulates the lymphatic system. You can set the rebounder up in the living room, bounce and watch television at the same time. Try tuning into music and bouncing. Sugar. We are all programmed to like sugar. New research shows some are genetically much more prone to sugar and food addiction than others. It is becoming clear why some have more trouble kicking the sugar habit than others. The science demonstrating that people can be biologically addicted to sugar in the same way we can be addicted to heroin, cocaine, or nicotine is clear. Binging and addictive behaviors are eerily similar in alcoholics and sugar addicts. In fact, most recovering alcoholics often switch to another easily available drug, sugar. It seems that we all vary a bit in our capacity for pleasure. Some of us need a lot more stimulation to feel pleasure, driving us to a range of addictive pleasures that stimulate our reward center in the brain. Drug and alcohol addictions, compulsive gambling, sex addiction, and of course, sugar, food addiction, and compulsive eating. We often see these as moral failures or results of character defects. In fact, it may be that addicts of all stripes are simply unlucky and born with unfortunate genetic variations in our reward and pleasure mechanisms. Despite being stuck with the sugar addiction low pleasure gene, you may be able to modify its activity by modulating your brain chemistry and receptor function with the use of specific nutrients. The genetics of pleasure. In our brain, a little receptor, the dopamine receptor, D2 or DRD2, must be activated or switched on for us to feel pleasure. The amino acid dopamine triggers this response. Sugar and other stimulating addictions increase dopamine in the short term. The only problem is it appears that those with sugar addictions, compulsive eating, and obesity have DRD2 systems that need much more stimulation to feel pleasure. Those who have sugar addiction, it seems, have fewer D2 dopamine receptors, and they need extra stimulation to make them turn on. Functional MRI studies of teenagers, both lean and obese, found that the obese teenagers whose brains didn't light up as much in the dopamine reward centers were more likely to be obese and gain weight later. They also were more likely to have the DRD2 gene that coded for fewer receptors. Some studies have pointed to drugs or nutrients that can modulate this defective dopamine reward response. In one study, naltrexone, an opiate blocker, which blocks the effect of heroin and morphine on the brain, was used with sugar addicts. When they took this drug, which prevented them from getting the temporary high from sugar, they craved less and ate less. We also know that amphetamines are natural appetite suppressants and reduce cravings. This is why children who take stimulant ADHD drugs, which are actually just fancy amphetamines that stimulate dopamine receptors, have trouble gaining enough weight as they grow. There are also some promising studies of nutraceuticals that can modulate dopamine receptor function and appetite regulation. Bruce Ames, PhD, found that high levels of nutrients can reduce disease in people with 50 different gene variants. Nutrients may modulate the function of our genes, improve their function, or affect the activity of enzymes that genes produce. In fact, 1/3 of our entire DNA has one simple job: to code for and produce enzymes controlled by nutrient cofactors. This means that nutrients have a powerful ability to modify the expression of your genes. Overcoming your addiction to sugar. Despite being stuck with the sugar addiction low pleasure gene, you may be able to modify its activity by modulating your brain chemistry and receptor function with the use of specific nutrients that improve gene expression or modify the activity, the enzyme, or the receptors, even if they were somewhat impaired. Regulation of hormones and neurotransmitters that affect appetite and cravings is complex and involves many factors, including how quickly food spikes our blood sugar, stress, getting enough sleep, nutritional deficiencies, chemicals such as artificial sweeteners, food sensitivities, which drive inflammation, and more. For those with personal struggles with food addiction, remember it is not a moral failing or lack of willpower. And follow these steps. 1. Balance your blood sugar. Research shows that low blood sugar levels are associated with lower overall blood flow in the brain, which means more bad decisions. So to keep your blood sugar stable, eat a nutritious breakfast with some protein, like eggs, protein shakes, or nut butters. Studies repeatedly show that eating a healthy breakfast helps people maintain weight loss. Also have smaller meals throughout the day. Eat every 3 to 4 hours and have some protein with each snack or meal. And the meal should include lean animal proteins, nuts, seeds, or beans. Avoid eating 3 hours before bedtime. 2. Eliminate sugar and artificial sweeteners and your cravings will go away. Go cold turkey. If you are addicted to narcotics or alcohol, you can't simply just cut down. You have to stop your brain to reset. Eliminate refined sugars, sodas, fruit juices, and artificial sweeteners from your diet. These are all drugs that will fuel cravings. 3. Determine if hidden food allergies are triggering your cravings. We often crave the very foods we have a hidden allergy to. 4. Get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. research shows that lack of sleep increases cravings. 5. Optimize your nutrient status. Optimize your vitamin D level. According to one study, when vitamin D levels are low, the hormone that helps turn off your appetite doesn't work, and people feel hungry all the time, no matter how much they eat. Optimize omega-3s. Low levels of omega-3 fatty acids are involved in normal brain cell function, insulin control, and inflammation. Consider taking supplements for cravings control. Glutamine, tyrosine, 5-HTP are amino acids that help reduce cravings. Stress-reducing herbs such as rhodiola can help. Chromium balances blood sugar and can help take the edge off cravings. Glucosamine fiber is very helpful to reduce the spikes in sugar and insulin that drive cravings and hunger. Swap sweets with the following sweetener to substitution ratio provided in the box. Sugar and aging. Sugar in all its forms, corn syrup, cane sugar, high fructose corn syrup, etc., is extremely damaging to the skin and in fact to all organ systems. And so yes, enjoy that yogurt, a very healthy food, but eat it plain or add fresh fruit. The sweetened varieties sabotage a healthy lifestyle. Here's why. Sugar suppresses the activity of our white blood cells. This makes us more susceptible to infectious diseases like colds and flus, as well as cancer. The same dysfunction of the white blood cells can also make allergies worse. Collagen's natural enemy. Wrinkles, deep lines, and sagging skin are a partial byproduct of the process known as glycation. Sugar and other high glycemic carbohydrates like bread, starches, potatoes, baked goods, pasta, desserts, and soda are rapidly converted to glucose in your bloodstream. This overload can cause a reaction called glycation, in which the excess sugar molecules attach themselves to collagen fibers. Glycation occurs when a glucose or sugar molecule binds to a protein molecule without the influence of enzymes, which are proteins that accelerate the rate of chemical reactions. In scientific terms, we refer to these sugar-protein bondings as AGEs, an appropriate acronym for Advanced Glycosylation End Products. This causes them to lose their strength and flexibility, so the skin becomes less elastic and more vulnerable to skin damage, lines, and sagging. Not just skin deep. And while wrinkled skin is one of the visible appearances of AGEs, most degenerative diseases are affected in one way or another by disease-producing glycation reactions. These reactions result in major damage to the body, including arterial stiffening, atherosclerosis, the formation of cataracts, neurological impairment, diabetic complications, wrinkled, sagging skin, and more. In fact, AGEs lie at the very heart of the aging process across all specialties, from skin to the brain. AGEs can be responsible for wrinkles, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and much more, including the age-related memory loss and even Alzheimer's disease. Simply put, the formation of AGEs is responsible for serious damage to the body, both internally and externally, and sugar is a major culprit. The glycation fighter, alpha-lipoic acid. We also have a number of highly effective topical anti-glycation treatments for skin. Alpha-lipoic acid, or ALA, is a very powerful nutrient when taken as a supplement, and is also important as a topical treatment. It is highly recommended as a nutritional supplement because it has powerful anti-glycating effects and is extremely important as an anti-inflammatory. Alpha-lipoic acid increases the cell's ability to take up glucose for metabolism. This removes it from the blood, thereby helping to prevent damaging glycation reactions. Because it is both fat and water-soluble, it can reach all portions of the cell, providing complete protection. This is true whether it is taken as a supplement or used as a topical. ALA's fat solubility allows it to penetrate into the skin where it can wield its anti-inflammatory power to great benefit. It protects the cells from free radical damage and halts the initiation of skin-damaging inflammatory cascade. What about sweeteners? A common question is if eating sugar and other forms of sweeteners can contribute to acne, and the answer is yes. When our blood sugar and insulin levels rise, whether from a poor diet or from stress, we experience a serious increase in inflammatory chemicals at a cellular level. This causes inflammatory diseases such as acne to worsen dramatically. Cortisol and other adrenal steroids can act as androgens, which are male hormones, and stimulate the sebaceous oil glands, resulting in a flare-up of acne. If you are concerned about your health and not accelerating the aging process, it is best to avoid all forms of refined sugar, as well as chemical, artificial sweeteners. There are natural sugars found in fruits and vegetables that should be our only source of sugar. These foods are high in anti-inflammatory antioxidants, help stabilize blood sugar and nutrients that promote beautiful skin and a healthy body.